What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over talking about our top wide receivers right now in College Football 25 Ultimate Team and ranking them on a tier list. Now, we've got all the cards from 92 overall all the way up to our top wide receiver, which is a 95 overall in this game. Now, obviously, the 95s are going to be more expensive than the 92s. We're not ranking on value. We're ranking off skill. So I'm sorry if, you are struggling to, build a good team for cheap or don't have a lot of coins. But again, I'm going to be helping you guys out when it comes down to even the value guys, who you guys should be looking at picking up. Now, started off with 92 Deshaun Hamilton. Now, look, this card is not the worst. He's got 92 speed, 93 acceleration. But when we're looking at, the best wide receivers in the game, I think this card is D tier. I think there just are way better options than this card in the game. Now, again, if you like Deshaun Hamilton's 92, do what you have to do. I'm just not personally the biggest fan of him. Ian Strong, D tier as well. Another card that, I don't personally hate, but is he, deserving of being higher than D tier? I just don't think so. I think the card is fine. I think he's definitely usable. I just don't love what Ian Strong does provide on the field for you guys. Rondale Moore up next. It's crazy that I like Rondale more than those cards. Rondale Moore is a 92 overall that came out a while ago. But guess what, guys? He's got 93 speed, and in the open field, he is an absolute problem. So for me, I personally like Rondale Moore more than Deshaun Hamilton, more than Ian Strong. It's just my personal opinion on things, while using Rondale Moore quite a bit. So maybe I'm biased because I've used Rondale Moore quite a bit, but that's where I'm at. Travis Hunter, here's where things get difficult, guys, because I even think the 92 Travis Hunter is better than the last couple of guys. Now, why? His spin move is good, his route running is great, his speed acceleration is great. He's such a complete card. He's better than the other two guys at D tier. Now, would I recommend getting the 92 Travis Hunter? No, not at this stage. I just don't think the card is worth picking up at this stage of the game. However, he's fine. Travis Hunter is C tier. Jackson Meeks, honestly, I was pretty disappointed in Jackson Meeks when the card came out. I was pretty disappointed. I know he's got 93 speed, good catching, good, route runner. Can't make people miss in the open field. His carrying stinks. He's B tier, but it's as high as you can go. If you have him any higher at B tier, I don't know what you're seeing out of Jackson Meeks, and maybe I need to figure out what you're on, because my Jackson Meeks doesn't do what y'all's Jackson Meeks might do. To me, he's B tier. Calvin Johnson was so good when the card came out. At this stage, with all the 94s we've got, he's still A tier, though. Good speed, super tough to defend against because he's so tall. He is still A tier. However, he is no longer that S tier. He's no longer in that elite tier of wide receivers. He's really good. I like Calvin Johnson, but he's no longer in that S tier. Deshaun Jackson at this stage, B tier. He had his time in this game. His time is no longer. B tier for Deshaun Jackson. Like I said, when the card came out, I've actually never got to use him because he was way overpriced. Now that he's, affordable, he's just not worth his price. So kind of a weird situation. Tez Johnson up next. He's super fast. Is he as good as Calvin Johnson? That's the real question. They're different wide receivers. Calvin Johnson's going to be way more physical. Tez Johnson's only 5'10". The thing with Tez Johnson is he's 5'10". Yes, route running and speed, he's great. But as a ball carrier, he stinks. It's not like he's going to make people miss in the open field. He might fumble as well. I'm throwing Tez Johnson at B tier. I do not like him nearly as much as a guy like Calvin Johnson. 93 overall Travis Hunter is A tier, nearly S tier. There's going to be only a couple of guys at S tier. And although I really do like this Travis Hunter, he plays for me, he is A tier. If you got the card, you've got a really good Travis Hunter card, though. I just want you guys to be known, whether you got the wide receiver, whether you've got the corner, Travis Hunter is going to be solid for you guys. Has that silver takeoff, does a lot of things on the field for you guys, but I think A tier ultimately is the right spot for the card. Next up, Zachariah Branch. I mean, at this stage, it's tough. 93 speed, 93 acceleration. He gets open. I just don't think I can put him in A tier because is he as good as Travis Hunter? Simply put, no. And I've used Zachariah Branch a decent amount. I don't hate the card whatsoever, but I just don't think he is in that elite tier at that wide receiver position. I think B tier ultimately is the right spot for the card. In Zachariah Branch. Carter, I really don't mind whatsoever. I've, again, used him. He felt like he got open quite a bit. Jeremiah Smith up next, our first S tier card. Now, I know he might not have the takeoff you want, those type of things, but at the end of the day, he's got 95 speed, 95 acceleration. He gets open. He's got good length. He is S tier. If you look at the stats of Jeremiah Smith, and I'll pull them up for you guys, there really should be no questions asked. This card is an absolute stud, an absolute beast. 95 speed, 95 acceleration, 95 catching, 97 deep route running. Like, if you don't like Jeremiah Smith, I don't know what to tell you guys. I genuinely don't. Doesn't drop open passes. He's S tier. Now, is he the best guy on this tier? No, because Travis Hunter, simply put, is better. Travis Hunter has silver. Takeoff, I do believe it's on silver. Travis Hunter is the best wide receiver that we do have in the game. 900,000 coins for the card. Yikes. But 95 speed acceleration, great route runner. I mean, the card is elite on this game. There's not much else to say. Definitely deserving of being on S tier. Probably right now your best wide receiver in the game as it stands. S tier for Travis Hunter. Andrew Armstrong, it's weird because when you get him to a 93 overall, he becomes a little bit better. Honestly, guys, here's what I would do with Andrew Armstrong, and I like his 93. I'd probably throw the 92 at C tier and the 93 at B tier. And so it's important to note that most people don't have these cards updated or upgraded. But if you do get him maybe to that 93, heck, honestly, at a 93 overall, I'd argue A tier. So that's a huge difference, but I would. He gets 94 speed. I'd argue A tier if you get him to a 93 overall. This card is at the 92 overall C tier, though. Devontae Adams at this stage, it's just tough. Probably A tier. He is definitely A tier. 94 speed, becomes really solid on the field for you guys. He's not S tier, though. He is really, really solid at that wide receiver position. No questions asked, but he's not, in my opinion, that elite level. Now, I just bought Devontae Adams right now for 176,000 coins. Now, let's talk about why. He's an LTD. So this is kind of what I've talked about quite a bit on my channel recently is if you can get a guy like Devontae Adams for that price in which you can quick sell him down the road for 175,000 coins, it's a 1,000 coin rental type of card. Like, you've just got to take that and run with it. So Devontae Adams is really, really solid. Good speed, good route runner, makes people miss in the open field. There's just not a whole lot bad to say about Devontae Adams. He might even be he's probably our best player at A tier, almost close to an S tier wide receiver. 94 Deshaun Hamilton. I mean, I think I've got to go A tier, but I'll say it like this, and I know it all depends on whether you want to use their abilities or not, but I think Devontae Adams, stat-wise, is better than Deshaun Hamilton. So, again, a lot of that is ultimately preference-based, what you personally want at that wide receiver position, but that's just what I see with the couple of cards. Dominic Lovett was so good for his time. He is still a C-tier wide receiver. For his time, I really liked what this Dominic Lovett provided on the field for you guys. I genuinely really did like it. It's just at this stage, it's just tough for me to be, super, super high on Dominic Lovett. For his time, was really, really good on the field. It's just he came out a while ago. Elijah Badger, one of the weirder cards on this entire list. And I keep going back and forth on this Elijah Badger card. Now, I want to talk about why. There's just one stat that makes no sense. He's got 91 speed. I just don't know how to think of that, guys. He's got 91 speed on this game. How am I supposed to sit up here in front of you guys and hype that up, act like that's perfect, act like that's okay? I just don't know how I'm supposed to do that. And so it does get pretty tough because I do like Elijah Badger, but when it comes down to it, to me, that speed being a 91 is just too troll. So I don't know how I feel about Elijah Badger still to this day. To me, it's like, yeah, I do like the card. I think he's good. But at the end of the day, he's got 91 speed. Ball carrying stats good. Does a lot of things on the field well. I guess I'm still throwing him at B tier just because he does everything else on the field so well. But he's just such a weird card. So I hope you guys know and understand what I'm talking about when I say he's a weird card. He is such a weird card on this game, but I'll go B tier. Easton Messer up next. Here's where we're going to start getting some guys that honestly I'm not exactly sure about. All of these cards are similar, but not the same. Can't make any moves in the open field, but fast. Gonna route run well, but he's only 5'9". I'm going F tier. 5'9" at this stage of the game is crazy. Isaiah Bond. I still like Isaiah Bond. I still really like Isaiah Bond. I still think this card is going to get as open as a lot of players. But at this stage, guys, at this stage, I think I got to go B tier. If Zachariah Branch is going to be B tier, so is Isaiah Bond. His route running is so good. Short route. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is going to get tough here. I'm going to go B tier, though. I'm just going to. I think Travis Hunter is better. I think Adams and Calvin Johnson are better. I'm going to go B tier with Isaiah Bond. Greathouse up next. Honestly, Greathouse isn't bad. If you need a budget wide receiver, he is honestly one of my favorite 92 overalls for 30,000 coins. Catches the ball well. Can make people miss in the open field. Good route runner. Honestly, Greathouse, you're C tier. You're actually pretty solid on this game. Kelly up next. He's mid, guys. And I know he's free. I know people are going to grind for him and gas this card. This card is so mid on this game. Again, can't make people miss in the open field. Yes, speed acceleration's good. Receiving good. This card's actually not that bad. And the more I think about it, the more he is A tier probably. And it really is because that speed acceleration. I just personally have bias against people who can't make people miss in the open field. Like if you get into the open field, right, and you can't make a person miss, it just bugs the crap out of me. Like, why can you not make anybody miss in the open field? He still is deserving of A tier, though. There is no questions asked. Lambert Smith, I've actually ran this card a little bit. He's C tier. He's fine. Again, I got him for free, so I've been running the card, not even upgraded, because I don't even think you can upgrade this Lambert Smith, but C tier is where he belongs. Makai Lemon up next. I think A tier probably is this spot, but again, it comes down to, what really matters to you guys, because you got 94 speed, 93 acceleration, can't make people miss in the open field, can't run short routes very well, deep routes at 95. I'll throw him at A tier and just leave him there because, again, it's so hard when you get to this point to separate cards, like him compared to Kelly. Kelly's going to do some things better. Makai's going to do some things better. It really is tough to split cards up when it gets down to this stage on this game. Marvin Harrison Jr. at this stage is not good. C tier. Like, he had his time, and his time was good, but that time is over with. It's over with. He doesn't have that time anymore. It came, it went. He is still fine, but he is still a C tier card on this game. Still can make some things shake, but not necessarily great. I plugged in the wrong Randy Moss here, so pretend this Randy Moss is the 95 overall because I plugged in the wrong one, okay? This Randy Moss, S tier. The new Randy Moss is an S tier wide receiver on this game. Again, just an absolute stud of a wide receiver that can get the job done at the very, very highest level. A card that if you've not used, I don't know what to tell you because Randy Moss is an absolute beast. S tier for the card. Stephon Diggs up next. A tier. A tier for Diggs. Great, basically 94 stats all across the board. When I've used Diggs, he's been as good as nearly any other wide receiver I've used. Just an absolute stud. Makes people miss. Great route runner. Good catching. Good speed. Almost S tier. Like, he's one of my favorite A tier wide receivers on this list. Steven McBride up next. He's fine. C tier. You can pick the card up for free in the trophies section of this game, and he's fine. C tier. Next up, Squirrel White. He's okay. I don't love him as much as Greathouse, so he's going to go D tier. Trent Walker, I like quite a bit. If you are looking for wide receivers at the 92 overall for cheap that can do it all, Trent Walker's up there. Wide, 92 speed, 93 acceleration, great catching, make people miss, 6'2". There's just no flaws with Trent Walker. Honestly, Trent Walker is close to B tier. I'm going to do it. You know what? I'm going to put Trent Walker. No, I'm not. I do like Trent Walker, though. He's C tier, but I do like the card. Xavier Worthy, last but certainly not least, S tier. I mean, Xavier Worthy, for a small period of time, was 300,000 coins. If you got him during that time, you got a stud of a wide receiver that does everything at an elite level. I didn't get him at that time, so obviously, it stings for me. But the card is definitely an S tier caliber player on this game right now. Just an absolute stud at that wide receiver position. That's going to wrap it up for my wide receiver tier list today. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on it. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.